Where do you retreat to if they play c4, c5? Oh, then you play bishop c7. Then you play bishop c7. So the main plan here is that they want to play bishop a3, trying to trade off the bishops. And then you want to kind of delay that plan by playing here. Okay. So they can't play there, right? The queen has a battery, they can't play there. Although that doesn't stop them. They can play a4, and we've gone over this kind of play already in our other games. But let's see what he plays here. So queen e7, knight e5, which actually is probably the best try. And then b6. We're not supposed to play b6. But okay. b6, c captures d5, c captures d5. Oh, c captures d5, e captures d5, sorry. If c captures d5, then we have this knight c4 trick. We have a lot of they're using this pin very effectively. Let's say we play like knight c6 or something, then knight b5 is a killer. Yeah, we just have too much here. Let's say you play back so you don't lose the bishop. Then this is even worse because of now bishop a3. We're just destroying the position. But okay, I digress. So let's go over it. E captures d5. Okay, and as we saw in game 8, black's prospects after c captures d5, knight c4 are relatively bleak. The text move leads to a far more dynamic play, but black still has to deal with his static weaknesses. Okay, so the recapture with the e pawn, right here from e6 to d5, opens up the c8 to h3 diagonal. And thus increases black's presence on the king side, where he has a potential initiative because of his advanced f pawns. If black's b pawns were still back on b7, like over here, this would have solved all of his problems. So if we could move this pawn back, we would. But we're not supposed to play b6 when they play 95. But that's what the GMs played, so we're gonna go through the game. Good to see like different ideas. Okay, and also, as it is, black is stuck with a weak pawn on c6, which is even harder to defend because of the exposed f pawn. Bishop b2. This may be best, but it allows a transposition to castle lines. And knight d3 are more sensible. Knight d3 and bishop f4 instead are more sensible. But yeah, they're not going to give further details because they don't recommend a b6 move order. They're just showing us a game that what could happen, and let's see. And also, this is good for the white players. Like if you play d4 and you want to play against a Stonewall Dutch, then you know what to do and what to aim for. You know what they're aiming for, and you know what your best plan is, and that's when good chess happens. I don't want you to say stop phoning. I guess no 95 makes sense. Bishop a6, the idea of b6. So the b6 is to also try to push c5 in some lines, putting the bishop on a6 instead. So yeah, that's right. And it's queen c2 is that the problem with the exposed f pawn mentioned. Yeah, maybe not right now, but maybe at a later date. It's hard to control like both squares because he has two weaknesses already in the opening, so it's kind of tough. That's why they don't recommend this b6 move order, but it's good to know. Okay, so bishop b2, and here we play bishop b7. So black insists on delaying castles. It was still possible to transpose into another game with 10 castles, like instead of bishop b7 there. So there's a question here. Is there any reason to consider b6 more dubious than castles? Bishop b2, b6. So they're saying, is this uh, more dubious than just castling first, and then bishop b2, and then b6? And the answer is yes, probably there is, because it gave white more information about black's plans. Castling is more flexible than b6, therefore it's a little bit better. Well, from a flexibility standpoint, right? You always want to have your opponent kind of show their ideas first, so then you can react to their ideas rather than them reacting to your ideas. And what exchange is on d5? Oh, because b6 allows him to use the tactical weakness on h1 to a8. In order to exploit the weaknesses on f5 and c5 after the takes. Okay, but go back. Game. So queen c2 and g6. This looks somewhat weakening, but it will take white some moves to get around the king side dark squares, right? Because the bishop is already on this diagonal here. How about the pawn sacrifice? Um, like instead of playing here, what about the pawn sacrifice castles? Mentioning this is still a question, and that is certainly an option. And the compensation just seems a little bit insufficient, so they don't recommend it. So g6, knight d2, and the main idea is to play here and back. That way they have control, absolute control of the e5 square. And this seems somewhat inconsistent in later games. Knight bd7. Oh, so he castles. And said the preferred move here is to play knight bd7, remaining flexible, and then delaying castles and giving another option as well of castling. But whether it is objectively an improvement is an open question because, sorry, they give the line knight captures c7. Knight captures c7. They said that white has tried e4, f captures e4, f3, e3, rook fe1, castles. Another idea is bishop to b4. And knight f1, rook ae8, knight captures e3, queen g7, getting on this line now, knight g4, 7, f4, and rook f to e8, and this is about equal. And this was played in 2003. This is Arejo versus Alvarez. Um, there was another line that after 13, knight captures d7. There's another line that was played as knight f3, castles, e3, rook ac8, f to d1, f7, Sorry, rook f7. Queen c3. Rook e8. Knight e1. And g5. This is about equal as well. Okay. I like that sometimes I stack my rook. That way gaining some mating chances. c5 is not playable even if it's against principal. That's scary. White is better there. Surely 95 is crushing. Yeah. And that's why for white, white's best try is 95. Yeah, this is about even. They have even chances. Okay, so let's go back. So now you know what they've tried. So go back to the game. That I'll move 13 after castles, right? Because we just castled. Rook AC1. The only other game which has reached this position, and they said that white had some better chances in that game. But we play c5 here. Now, this move seems a bit risky after black has weakened the a1 to h8 diagonal right here, because he played g6, right? So g6 weakens that diagonal for him. Well, let's see what happens. So knight d to f3. Knight a6, supporting c5. Maybe planning to get a rook over here. Rook f to d1. Rook ac8. Both sides have completed their development, and it isn't obvious which bishops are weak or strong. It is, however, clear that the weakness on e5 causes black some minor worries. So queen b1, maybe planning to play here. Knight c7, and getting away from the e3. Knight e6. D captures. 5b captures c5. Knight d3. The position is complex, and it's not all easy to know what's going on, but this move seems to encourage black's queenside expansion. Knight e4. Bishop to a1. Wow. Maybe playing here. d4. Knight f4. What? Probably white should have played captures instead. And d captures first, just to get some breathing space on the queen side. But okay. So knight captures f4. G captures f4. And this is a really, really good point that sometimes it's better to capture this way toward the center, even though it kind of like ruins your structure, but it keeps the center locked. That happens a lot also in the Grand Prix, where you push f5 and they capture with the g pawn when they have the fianchettoed bishop. So G capture f4, bishop to a3, attacking the 2, e3. Take note, and that's really nice. That's a really nice move. I like that. I like that a lot. Rook e1. And black has played energetically, and as a result has achieved a quite promising position. And then he plays d4. The pawn sacrifice makes positional sense as it activates black's light squared bishop, while While some of white's pieces are a bit out of play on the queen side, yet it may be black's first step in the wrong direction. Knight captures. Or, and then g5. And I don't think Shabal's going to let this opportunity go away. And he said rook f d8 was tried, rook f to d8, followed by queen d1. So rook f d8. Sorry, let me go back. Instead of g5, rook f d8, and sorry about the siren in my background. There's a ambulance passing by my house. It's New York City, so you learn to live with it. Saying that queen d1 and then bishop b4 is a better try. Okay, but captures d5 question mark. Let's see. And look better to me. Rook f d1 is beautiful. d5 also looks weak as well. d4 c4. It prevents black from creating a passer. That's nice. d4 weakness. Yep. Sure. Ambulance. Yeah. Well, g5 is actually a mistake. Because of f3. And we weren't gonna let that opportunity pass us by. This is a well-calculated move. This well-calculated move works only because of the semi-4 sequence that occurred in the game. Knight d2. Black must have pinned his hopes on this tempo gain on the white's queen, but here the knight is exposed and without any retreat path. So one, g captures f4, rook captures e3, f captures e. On f captures e captures e. Captures check. This is relatively best, but far from sufficient. Rook captures 3, rook to d1, queen captures c1, bishop captures c. Rook 1, attacking the bishop. Bishop a3, d1. This knight doesn't really have a home. e8, king f2. At the cost of a second pawn, black managed to save his stranded knight, but his game is beyond salvation. Rook captures c1, bishop captures c1. Knight captures on f5. Knight b1, trying to get out. Bishop f1, getting to a better square. Knight d2. Bishop e2. Here's attacking this square. Bishop a8. Bishop d4. a5. Bishop e. King f7. King e1. King f6. Bishop captures d2. Second captures d. Captures f5. King e3. And this is just a winning game. So white delaying castling may have its points, The risk seems to outweigh the benefits and all of the gains. Therefore, the main lesson is the first impression of the two main pawn structures that can arise. So now we're going to move on to more deeply researched lines, all the way to the beginning. Yeah, tough ending. Two queenside pawns will be decisive, and bishop c3 instead of bishop e3. Yeah, very interesting game. And this is Shabalov. Yeah, he's a very interesting player. But this is what a lot of people need to do, like to get better at the game is just to really focus on opening at one point. Get like a nice little taste of it. Have a few moves, a few ideas ready so that they can go get into a middle game and not get checkmated out of the opening. All right, so c4, e6, knight f3, e5, 4, c6. Kind of looks like a Slav defense, the triangle system. e3. And now they're saying this is hardly the most challenging move in the position, but we're going to play f5, g3, knight f6, bishop g2, bishop d6, castles. Now we have a familiar position on the board. The bishop exchange isn't an option before white has castled. A very nice idea. This isn't an option because if bishop a3, bishop catches a3, captures on a3, and now we have queen a5 check. Right, the king has to do something about the check. Maybe play here, and then we take the knight for free. A very good point, so he has to castle first. Queen e7, knight e5, castles, and bishop e2. Okay, and here plays b6. This has been considered dubious, and indeed it hints that black has problems. Therefore, they provide some more analysis of knight bd7 instead, and a5 is an alternative sometimes. Okay, so he plays c captures e5, and if c captures d5 question mark, this position must be studied in connection d5, knight c4. Again, the simple tactic. Okay, so again, the simple tactic eliminates black's most important dark square bishop. It is food for thought that this idea has been known for a long time, and there's no doubt that the GM who was playing here, that he didn't know it because he's always well prepared. Knight c6 question mark. So this is a little bit dubious. It may be too harsh to join this move with the dubious sign, but b5, 11 b5 has been suggested as an improvement. In lesson 1, you were quite skeptical about the long-winded plans maneuvering the knights to f3 and d3. Why is this so much better now? So Yui actually was one of the really awesome founders of the idea of this maneuver, or this maneuver here, so that you can control the e5 square with the knights on f3 and d3. So Yui was probably right that the knights on d3 and f3 are white's ideal setup, but getting the knights there is is a time-consuming project. Time that black can use to create counterplay elsewhere. The great difference here is that black lacks meaningful counterplay, allowing white to take the time he needs to arrange his pieces. Knight captures on d6. Catches on d6. Bishop a3. As in game 8, white forces the c6 knight to leave its post before transferring his bishop to f4. This practically wins a tempo as a knight is needed on c6 in order to fight for e5. This is very interesting. Very interesting. Before, knight b4, and then bishop c1. The idea was that you don't really need the bishop on this line anymore. You just want to move the knight, make the knight move first so that you can go. So now that we go here, then we can play bishop f4, right? That was the idea. So let's say, how to play this move, we play c1 now. Now the knight on c6 protecting e5. But now if we can play bishop f4, basically we're saving a move and we're gaining a move. It's a tempo winning move. Until this game, black had quite good results in this line, but this paradoxical regrouping to f4 is unpleasant for black as the weakness of e5 and d6 become obvious. The logical justification that black's knight have to return to c6 in order to fight for e5, thereby losing 2 tempi, while white's a3, bishop a3, c1, f4 only loses 1 compared to the direct c1, f4. Nevertheless, the most accurate execution of white's idea may be knight c3 instead. So knight c3 first, a5, and now, and only now, you're gonna play bishop c1. And this gives a minimal plus to white as well. Gives a nice little edge. Okay, but that's not wasn't what he played. c1, we're gonna get back into the game. Bishop 1, a5. Royce points out that this standard prophylactic move prevents white from seizing more space with b4 and a4, stabilizes the future position of the bishop on a6, and the weakening of the b5 square isn't significant. Yet, this move, on move 14, instead of a5, intending bishop f4 to, you're going to play bishop f4, you're going to play queen b4. With counterplay against d4 may be a better try. Instead, white should probably just repeat moves, bishop a3, knight b4, and I'll go for knight c3 as described. Something just happened. Harlem Knight is now raiding with a party of 2. Harlem Knight, thank you so much. Because I would sack my bishop on that g4 pawn and then take with a knight. Oh, and back then, yeah. I'm surprised how rich this opening looks. And yeah, there's a lot of like nuances that you want to understand when you're playing an opening, and this is why I think I can't stick around. But I saw that you were in, my friend. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, by the way, guys, Harlem Knight does stream, and he's an amazing person. So please go check his channel out if you can. Follow him. The link is right there. No, they're helping us. They're helping out our stream. Let's help out their stream. Let's all grow together. Thank you so much, Harlem Knight, for being here and being part of the chess streamer community. Really, really well deserved and much deserved shout out. Yeah, so this opening is very, very rich. Very rich. And those small nuances are going to save you games. And this is when you get better at chess that you really need this. When you're just starting at chess, just simple opening principles. But then when you get to like 1900, 2100, 2200, this is the stuff that's really gonna change games for you. All right, so let's go here. Go back to analysis. So bishop c1, a5, knight c3, bishop a6, f4, queen to d7, and then a3. Roy's consider this move somewhat weakening and suggest that instead you should play rook c1, rook fc8, fc, and f3. Awesome, but they say that instead of a3, Fritz prefers the immediate knight a4, just targeting weak stuff. Okay, so but a3, knight c6, 1, rook fc8. This is probably the wrong rook. Now it's always hard when deciding which rook you should take. Like it's really really hard, but you have to look at your prospects and say, where do I want to place my rooks? In this case, this rook anything. This needs to be over here. Instead of this line, where now the play makes sense because maybe you have some ideas in the future of playing a4. But here, sorry, back to here, there's no idea of a4. There are no future prospects. So instead, you should bring this other rook over here. Maybe this rook belongs here or here. Or maybe here. Maybe we're gonna play g5 soon with an f4 break. Knight a4. Ouch. Very unpleasant. The knight puts pressure on the b pawn while preventing its advance. Queen b7. f3. Very nice. Gaining control of the e4 and g4 and preparing his transfer of his queen to where the g2 bishop is temporarily obstructed, but right now it is the dark squares that matter. Knight to d7. Now I have a question, right? What if they play here? Then obviously we have this beautiful move. The knight's an amazing piece there, right? The knight's just stellar, stellar move. And we can follow up with queen. So f3, knight d7, queen d2. Here we go, knight here, attacking the his pawn. Knight a7. The logical follow-up was to try to simplify the position with b5. That was the logical move. That's why I played knight d7. Now knight c5, uh, takes, rook takes, and b4, and then a4. Maybe knight d8. Trying to simplify. Although white has a slight edge because the bishops are just a little bit more strong, a little bit stronger. Maybe like rook fc1, seeing the pressure on this line. I feel like maybe this is black's best try too. But he played the ridiculous knight a7. e3, attacking the pawn. King f7. And they also note that knight f8 should be met with g4. And then knight b5. Bishop h3 with a strong initiative. Wow, that's nice. So king f7. g4. g6 question mark. This move weakens the dark squares around the black's king, and probably better is knight b5. But white can ignore the threat on the a3 pawn and continue with bishop h3, same variation that we just went over. So let's just chat has to say when I get to 2200. You're too kind, my friend Japanese student, no problem. Thank you, Harlem Knight. Bishop is too strong on f4, and knight captures c5d. Put him off, I imagine. But the idea of having a connected passer. Yeah. 6. She captures f5. Captures f. And Royce also considers this to be the decisive mistake and recommends that g captures f5. Um, but let's see what happens here. Bishop d6. Whoa, what a move. What a wow. We have a lot of ideas. Knight f8. Ouch. This leads to an unnecessarily quick loss. Say that knight f6 is a little bit more resilient. Still, I mean, bishop e5. I mean, we have a lot of moves. We have knight c3, getting into the action. Even knight captures on b6 is a getting the queen like moving out of the way. Yeah, we have everything. But okay, let's see. Knight f8. That's what's played in the knight captures b6. Yeah, same idea I was just saying. Queen captures on b7 check. I just assumed that he was gonna play queen e7 check. e8. f4. Whoa, we gotta be careful about this bishop not getting to the. Suddenly, the sleeping beauty on g2 enters the attack. Right? Bishop b7, protecting that square. b5, threatening checkmate. Knight e6, holding down the fort. Queen f6, running some idea. Black is a piece up, but his uncoordinated pieces are unable to defend their king. Rook captures on c1. Rook captures on c1. Rook c8. Right, and then queen h8, king f7. Here, queen captures h7, king f8. Queen h8 check. f7. 7. Always repeat. 7. 6 e8. Captures g6 check. King E7, Queen F6, Rook F1. Keeping the rook prevents black from getting any counter chances. Rook C2, F3, Bishop F3, now getting another piece into the game. Queen F5, captures F5 is actually simpler. The D4 and E2 pawns are immune because of Queen H5 check. Like this. Take, then try to take here. Then have check, right? But okay. He has his preference. All right. Knight C8, overlooking a forced mate. Queen H5, sorry, Bishop H5 check. King D7, King F7. He has one. King C6. Actually, he has two moves. But 6. And then, well, it doesn't have it here, but Queen E8 is mate. And if King here, then Queen E8. So very nice. Very nice game. And really, really interesting ideas here. Especially in the opening. Let's go back a little. So this bishop move here, kind of interesting. When he plays knight e5, they I see play knight c6, then we should take here, and now maybe knight c3, bishop c1, and bishop f4, which is the main idea, and we should only play that after a5, which is really interesting. Rudy, hello, and thank you for joining the stream. I just wonder what brought you in here, and welcome, and thank you for following. Yeah, it was really, really nice, really masterful. So we're gonna end that right here. Um, thank you for watching it, and if you have any comments or any concerns, put it down in the YouTube chat. Hit the subscribe and notification bell if you like what I'm doing here. If you want to see more. Um, I'm on Twitch. I have all my links, Instagram down there. And thank you guys. See you.